Hey guys, we wanted to talk to you today about setting long-term business goals. Maybe you've been in business for a few years and you wanted to start getting more deliberate about where you're going and how you get there.
We're going to share with you the 4-step process that we followed with our business coach on setting 5-year business goals for the company, and we'll include a ton of examples to help you guys as you're setting your own goals. I'm Christy.
And I'm Mike. And welcome back to our channel where we love sharing tactical tips and best practices that will help you level up your small business.
So if you want to take your small business to the next level, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any videos. And be sure to check out the show notes where we have a link to an ebook that you can download and follow along with us.
All right, step 1 is imagine your vision. And this is where you get to have a little bit of fun. This is kind of where you get to dream about the future. Get an understanding of where the business is going to be in 5 years.
Yeah, so if you were to close your eyes and picture yourself 5 years from now, what does that look like? What does that feel like? How big is your company? Do you have a lot of employees? Are you really small and really lean? What does that look like?
And if you're like me, you're going to struggle a little bit here at this stage to stay high level and not get caught up in the details. You don't want to get very specific, or you're not detail oriented at this stage at all. It's very, very high level.
Very loose. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What is your imagination for your company at this point?
One that we went through, I don't know, about 5 years ago was wanting to go remote. And for us being high level and thinking about that at this time, it was a couple of things. One was being able to hire people from all over the world, basically increasing our talent pool. We saw that was becoming more and more competitive in our area, and we would have to figure out ways to attract people, and remote seemed like an interesting thought experiment there. What was another one personally?
We also wanted to be able to work from home, so be able to roll out of bed, open the laptop, and start working. That was pretty appealing to us.
Or being able to work while you're traveling, like not being tied down to any one specific place. Yeah, so was a really great goal, and it was important for us to get that high level view of what that kind of meant to us, what was important about that goal that we wanted to achieve 5 years from then.
Yeah, so just high level, jot down a couple of things that come to mind when you think about where you want to be in 5 years. So step 2 is get specific about this vision. So we've talked about high level, very dreamy, this is what it looks like, this is what it feels like. Now you want to look at that and say, okay, well, what does that mean? So remote, what does that mean?
Right, so following a remote example, so we said we wanted to be able to work from anywhere in the world, and we want to be able to hire people from anywhere in the world as well. But there's a lot of little details there that you have to be specific about, like time zones. Do we want to be able to function across multiple time zones, or do we still want to be mostly within our local time zone here? Could be, do all teams, are they all able to work remotely or be able to hire across the world, or other specific teams more suited to that? So these are the kinds of things you start to sort of formulate as you get specific about your goal.
Yeah, you have to make a couple of decisions about what that goal is. So take the example of, okay, I envision having a really big social media following. Well, what platform do you want to focus on? And how many followers do you envision in 5 years? Do you want to be in the thousands, tens of thousands, millions? What does that look like? If your goal is to grow the business, what does that mean? Like roughly how many employees do you see yourself being at that point? How many customers do you see, or average deal size for a company? How much revenue do you want to be making? Like, try to get specific and have metrics if you can.
Yeah, it's really about, I think, setting boundaries about where you're going to go. It's not about, we're over dreaming now. It's now about sort of scoping that and giving you a framework to understand, where you're going to go. So then you can start to figure out how you're going to get there. Step 3 of this process is edit and align. And what we mean by that is basically going and sleeping on what you've dreamt about and sort of scoped out, and make sure when you come back to it fresh that it still makes sense, it still feels like something you can achieve. And then align is about, if you have a partner, you have to make sure that you're both on the same page.
Yeah, and when you're editing and aligning, you want to make sure that you are making sure that it's realistic, but it also should feel a little bit scary. Like, some of this stuff kind of makes you want to your pants. It's a little bit terrifying, and that's okay, but it should still be realistic. So maybe you've slept and thought about, okay, well, what is realistic within revenue that I could be making in 5 years? Like, is that your goal? Is that what you're going to commit to? Same thing with employee size or average deal size, or maybe having a following or a publication that you want to be written about. What does that mean? And are you committed to seeing that vision through in the next 5 years?
And then sit down with your partner or your founder, if you have one, and make sure that you both understood everything you put down in the same way. There's no misunderstandings. One partner didn't think about it in a specific way and the other went down a different path, because you don't want to find that out 2 or 3 years down into your planning for hitting this goal. You want to figure that out now. So you really want to make sure that you've edited your plan, you've reviewed it, you've slept on it, and that you've aligned with every stakeholder involved.
Step 4 is the last step. This is document and review. So by this point, you should be clear on what your long-term goals are, what they mean. You've aligned with co-founder or partners or stakeholders that you have. And now this is all about writing down and committing to these things, and then looking at it regularly, every week, every month, every quarter, to help figure out what do you need to be doing now in order to get to those goals.
So this step is really, really important, because this is sort of setting yourself up for success as you work towards this goal in the future. You should be able to articulate this very clearly to any staff that you have at this point. You should have a framework in place so that as you're making decisions in the day-to-day or in your quarterly planning, for example, that you can always align those decisions to where you're trying to go. So this is really a tool that you're going to be using to make sure you achieve your 5-year goal.
Yeah, and this should help you make decisions, really tough decisions, about what to say no to, what to say yes to, what to defer to, when to do things. This is like your long-term guide, and everything that you decide to do or don't decide to do should be aligning with this long-term vision so that you know you'll actually get there.
Thanks for watching the video, guys. If you found this helpful, please give it a thumbs up down below. This process has been very instrumental in us planning for our 5-year goals, and we hope it helps you as well. Let us know in the comments down below how you make on setting your 5-year goals.
And make sure to hit the subscribe button so you get more videos like this. Check out the show notes for a downloadable worksheet that you can check out, and follow us on all the social channels.